Good evening and welcome to another edition of HGP Sport. For today, I'm JADON Samuels. Thanks for joining us. Following a 2-1 drubbing in Antigua last Friday, the Golden Jaguars, playing at the Lenora Track and Field Centre, made it 5-1 as the CONCACAF Nations League football continued. The details in this report. Playing the Antiguans at home, the Jaguars were clearly not going to have a repeat, entertaining the small but vocal crowd of football lovers. Playing in a must-win situation, the locals were off to a flyer thanks to exciting winger Treon Bob scoring the first 2 goals, unleashing a more calculated approach following a very poor showing in Antigua by the Jaguars. Finishing the first half comfortably ahead, Sheldon Holder in minute 65 made it 3, much to the delight of the Golden Jaguars supporters, and just after, Cadell Daniel made up for an earlier blunder, taking the must-win game completely away from the Bina boys. Apart from Dandres Bishop's loner, in the 47th minute, the Antiguans, who were clearly not prepared for what was unfolding around them, conceded yet another goal, this time making way for Pornell Charles' first competitive goal for Guyana in stoppage time. The Jaguars will now buckle up to tackle Aruba on November 15 at home, after which the Jaguars will travel to the Reggae Island for their final group game. Jadon Samuels, HGP Sport. Turning our attention to some cricket news, Hayden Walsh Jr. and Brandon King moves into the West Indies limited over squads after their great performances at the 2019 edition of the Caribbean Premier League. Samuel Gillis tells us more.
Leg spinner Hayden Walsh Jr., who made his international debut for USA earlier this year, has now broken into the West Indies squad for the 3 T20s and 3 ODIs against Afghanistan and India in November. Walsh made it to West Indies limited overs squad after a breakout CPL 2019, where he spun Barbados Tridents to the title with 22 wickets at an economy rate of 8.28 despite playing just 9 matches in the season. Walsh, who was born in U.S. Virgin Islands to Antigua parents, is a dual passport holder that has been part of West Indies' domestic structure. Guyana Amazon Warriors opening batsman Brandon King, who was the top scorer in this season's CPL with 496 runs in 12 innings at a strike rate of nearly 150, was also picked in both the ODI and T20 squads. Kieran Pollard, who last played an ODI in 2016, returned to take over as captain of both the limited overs teams. Test captain Jason Older, who won the CPL with Barbados Tridents on Sunday, is also part of all 3 squads. For HGP Sport, I am Samuel Gillis.
Still in cricket news, Roger Harper leads new men's senior selection panel for Cricket West Indies. He will be joined by Miles Bascom and head coach Phil Simmons. Here again is Samuel Gillis.
Former Windward Islands batsman Miles Bascom has been appointed to the men's senior selection panel, which will be headed by former West Indies off-spinner and head coach Roger Harper. Bascom, who has never held a senior selection post previously, was a surprise choice announced by Cricket West Indies on Monday to serve on the high-profile 3-men committee, which also comprises Phil Simmons, the new men's head coach. Bascom played a single T20 international 8 years ago against England in a weakening West Indies squad that drew a 2-match series in London. And his 24-match first-class career was largely a tepid one, petering out following the 2017 season, when he played just 2 matches with little success for Volcanoes. Harper, on the other hand, who played 25 tests and 105 one-day internationals, came highly recommended after also having served as West Indies head coach between 2000 and 2003. His first job will be to select the squad, which will face Afghanistan in 3 T20 internationals, 3 ODIs, and a one-off test from November the 5th to December the 1st in India. For GP Sport, I am Samuel Gillis.
Let's turn our attention to some table tennis news. The development of table tennis moves to another level here in Guyana, with more emphasis now being placed at the grassroots level. The Guyana Table Tennis Association, through the Guyana Olympic Association Pan American Sports Organization funding, has secured the services of an International Table Tennis Federation Level 1 certified coach, Candace McKenzie, who will serve as a school's table tennis coach to support and work with the Guyana Table Tennis Association Schools Athlete Development Pathway Project. The development project was birthed as a collaborative project between the Guyana Olympic Association, the National Sports Commission, the Guyana Teachers Union, and the Government of Guyana, based on the GTTA's proposal. The project has seen over 200 teachers from the selected schools trained in the International Table Tennis Federation 12-hour supervisory level training program, which was conducted by national table tennis coach Lyndon Johnson. Turning our attention to some chess, preparation to the 2020 Chess Olympiad continues. Nicholas Narayan being the standout this week, being crowned king following an intense 3-game segment. The details in this report. Nicholas Verwey was truly a worthy opponent in the ultimate matchup for the title, showing evidence of his disciplined training regime and enthusiasm for the game. In the second game, Verwey used his drops effectively and worked Narayan into the corners to secure his win. The third game, which showcased an outstanding matchup of great depth, great squash and great athletes, landed on the side of the experienced Narayan for the 15-14, 13-15, 15-11 win. In the open plate, after a game apiece, tired legs from both players in the third between Daniel Ince and Ian McDessie showed down what had been a fast-paced clash. Ince took the first in smooth fashion, however, McDessie pulled it back in the second game, pushing to hold Ince off at 15-14. Relying on talent in the decider rather than fitness, Ince was able to move up his deficit and close off the game at 15-9, 14-15, 15-11. Jaden Samuels, HGP Sport. Simone Biles has done it again. This time she makes the news for breaking the World Championships medal record. The details in this report.
Simone Biles became the most decorated gymnast in World Championships history with 2 more golds on Sunday last. The American 22 surpassed the overall medal record held by Vitaly Skubo by winning on the balance beam, or 24th medal, 18 of them gold. In Stuttgart, Biles put in another sublime display to post a score of 15.066 and pick up her 4th goal of these championships. She then produced a stunning 15.133 to win another goal in the floor final. Having won 4 gold medals and 1 bronze at Rio 2016, Biles now has 30 medals in World Championships and Olympics, 3 short of the record held by Skubo, who represented the Soviet Union, the Commonwealth of Independent States, and Belarus in the 1990s. She said, "I really don't know how I do it sometimes. I wish I could have an out-of-body experience to witness it, because sometimes I think I'm going crazy." For HGP Sport, I am Samuel Gillis.
That concludes our cast for this evening. I'm Jaden Samuels, reminding you, as always, say yes to life, yes to sport, and no to drugs. Good night.